Deirdre Carja is me se cíhan a Seoladh, agus is ifigach forbarthe na nibrithe Jonah le form na nóg. Is agriach reganach form na nóg a teag taú le breis is trocha cú grúpi fod fad na sé chundé. Agus táid cósáasta a bheith gobar go dlú le forbert na nibrithe Jonah léna le Portuguese agus le daoine agus Sólás na nóg. My name is Seoladh Seoladh. I'm the Volunteer Development Officer with Form the Nog. Form the Nog is a regional youth organisation supporting the development of 35 youth organisations across the north, and we are delighted to assist the development of the volunteers alongside Portuguese and Sólás na Nog. We would like to welcome you here today to the Sólás na Nog research report launch. The report is titled A Cahu Cofartiacht, Exploring and Developing Opportunities for Collaborative Practice among Irish medium schools and youth services for young people with additional needs. We chose to launch this research as part of Seachtha na Gaeilge, a festival that celebrates the Irish language internationally. This supports not only the values of the project, but reinforces the significant developments within the Irish medium sector. We would like to welcome our first speaker, Taighde the project coordinator with Sólás na Nog, who will give us an insight into the background of the project, its developments and the future vision.
Gur míle mai agad as sin cíomh, so Deirdre Carja is me se Taighde agus tá mé mar cordíhor oige le Sólás na Nog, agus tá sé mar anardom a bheith an seo le bhiniu. My name is Taighde and I'm the project coordinator with Sólás na Nog, and I'm honoured to be here with you all today. Sólás na Nog is a pioneering initiative in the realm of informal education, designed specifically to cater to young people with diverse additional learning, physical, social, emotional and behavioural needs, delivered and facilitated and actively participated in through the medium of the Irish language. This bespoke provision aims to create an inclusive environment where every young person can thrive. As a groundbreaking development for the Irish language revival, Sólás na Nog plays a crucial role in ensuring that young people with additional needs, who may have previously faced barriers in accessing mainstream Irish medium youth services, now have a dedicated space to learn, grow and engage. This project captures and nurtures a holistic view of the young people involved, not only amplifying their voices, but also considering the wider context in which they exist. In doing so, it redefines inclusivity in youth education while advancing the Irish language as a driver for social change. At the heart of the work is a commitment to nurture, to show compassion and to empower. We nurture young people by creating spaces where they feel safe, valued and encouraged to reach their full potential. We show compassion by truly listening to their voices and understanding their challenges and responding with meaningful action based on where they are in the stage of their development. And we empower them by providing them with new skills that build their confidence and self-worth, while also providing them with opportunities to shape their own futures. We are also looking to the future. We see this 4-year project as only the beginning of something special. The insights from this research will guide us in developing new models and resources to enhance our impact with the aim of sharing our collective learning far and wide. But we cannot do this alone. As we navigate funding challenges, it is crucial that we continue to advocate for the sustainability of programmes like ours. The young people we work with deserve long-term, consistent support, and it is our collective responsibility to make that happen. As someone who coordinates such a dedicated project, I see firsthand the incredible potential, creativity, resilience and determination that these young individuals bring to the world day in and day out. This year, Sólás na Nog has made remarkable strides in expanding our offerings and scope of work. One of the key developments has been the introduction of a Lego-based therapy programme, which has been expertly translated and delivered through the medium of Irish for the first time, providing a unique and engaging way for young people to develop essential social and emotional skills. In addition, we are thrilled to share that Una was awarded this year's Young Apprentice of the Year with Lorna Neal for her hard work in our youth-led community cafe, Annam, a well-deserved recognition of her hard work and dedication. This year also saw the successful partnership with Lake Loughley, where we collaboratively created tailored GAA sessions specifically designed for young Irish speakers with additional needs. This initiative has provided an exciting opportunity for these young people who are often excluded or written off regarding sport and activity, to connect with their language and culture through sport, further enriching the overall programme. As we develop, we are committed to continually break new ground while exploring new possibilities for growth. The evidence we have gathered from parents and young people suggests that the post-16 school age requires focused and urgent attention. This will mean enhancing and developing standalone programmes that promote skills for life, skills for learning and skills for work. That ensures our young people have the tools and opportunities to thrive both now and in the future. In addition, our young people have been a central part to the advocacy work of our new Taighde multi-purpose capital facility. As part of this work, we have done detailed work with staff and architects regarding the development of a bespoke sensory room and sensory garden in the new facility. This will enable us to match the ambitious vision of Sólás na nÓg. This is why research like this is so vital. It gives us the evidence base we need to drive change, to advocate for better policies and proper resources, and to ensure that no young person is left behind simply because the world has not adapted to include them. I would like to express our heartfelt thanks to our incredible young people we work with, along with their parents and caregivers, for their unwavering support and participation in this project. We are deeply grateful to the National Lottery Community Fund, our invaluable funder, whose support makes this work possible. We hope to build this relationship in the time ahead. A special thank you to Dr. Orla McGurk for her research, carried out with such expertise and dedication. We also extend our sincere appreciation to our advisory committee for their guidance and insight throughout. Above all, we would like to recognise our dedicated staff team. Ryan, Beth, Leanne, Aisling, Riona, Fanula, Keelan, Dara and Connor, without whom this project would not be possible. Your commitment and hard work are the backbone of this work, and we are truly grateful for everything that you do. Programmes like Sólás na nÓg are not just programmes. We aspire to grassroots social change and equality by providing a voice for those who are often left unheard. We aim to build on our advocacy work in order to shine a light on the barriers young people with additional needs face, but more importantly, to highlight their strengths and aspirations and provide them with opportunities that are much needed to ensure they thrive. As we find ourselves in the final year of the funding of this project, it is essential that we reflect on the importance of such participatory action research and allowing us to advocate for these young people, ensure that unique pioneering services like ours continue to grow and exist. This is just the beginning. What we do with this knowledge is what truly matters. Let us use it to create action, to challenge outdated thinking, and to build a future where every young person, regardless of their needs, can thrive and reach their full potential. Gyniri Lynn, Gurmi Lamayaga Bakarja.
Galantar Fad Podging. We would now like to welcome our second speaker. Roisin Green will now share with us her lived experience of the project as a parent whose children regularly attend the programme. Roisin.
My name is Roisin Green and I am a proud parent of 3 wonderful children. Terry, Eva and Casey, all of whom are a part of Sólás na nÓg programme. I just want to make a start by thanking for the opportunity to speak for the recognising the importance of amplifying the voice of parents of children with special needs, ensuring our lived experience and perspective are heard and understood. When we first found this programme, I honestly didn't think how much of an impact it would have on our family. Before Sólás, my children didn't have a social outlet that truly nurtured their needs. My eldest, Terry, has always had a deep love for the Irish language, but outside of school, he has no opportunity to use this. This youth club has changed that. It gave him a space to connect with his culture, while also supporting his developments in ways I never expected. My siblings are fluent Irish speakers, but unfortunately I am not. Even so, I'm deeply passionate about making sure my children have access to space where the Irish language is celebrated and lived. This programme has been invaluable in strengthening their communication skills, whether it's practical for communion readings, school drama performances, or simply expressing themselves with confidence. As a single parent, knowing my children are in a safe, encouraging and supportive environment has been a huge source of comfort. The benefits of this programme just don't stop at the door of the youth club. I see it in everyday lives, their confidence, their social skills, their independency. Every child, including those with special needs, deserves to have their identity recognised, celebrated and supported, empowering them to embrace who they are and reach their full potential. Throughout activities like Lego-based therapy, cooking, creative arts and outdoor education, my children have developed life skills that go beyond the classroom. They've learned about ecosystem regeneration, planting and even building bird feeders. Experience that they never had before. And for Terry, who is preparing to transition to College to First Year. These opportunities have been particularly meaningful. My middle child sometimes struggles with transitioning, and as a parent, that can be really overwhelming. But the staff at Sólás have been incredible. They offer general support, calming technicians, and reassurance presents that they make all difference. But of their care, my children feel safe enough to settle in, engage, and thrive. Before this programme, my children found it difficult to build and maintain friendships. Now I see them forming connections, developing their social skills, and growing in ways I never imagined. As a SEN classroom assistant, I see firsthand harsh school environments can sometimes be overwhelming, especially for children with special needs. Schools focus on outcomes, but children are also needing space where they can be themselves, where they can explore, play and grow at their own pace. That's exactly what Sólás is. It is more than just a youth programme. It's a space for growth, belonging, empowerment, when young people can build their confidence, develop skills and shape their future. I want to express my deepest gratitude to the incredible staff and funders for all your dedication and hard work. Your impact makes a real difference every day. Garmayaga.
Before we hear from Dr. Orlana Girk, we will now invite you to watch a short endorsement video from Dr. Mel Ingman, who wrote the foreword for the research report, but unfortunately can't be here with us today. Dr. Ingman is a senior lecturer with Queen's University Belfast. Her research interests address questions related to the Indigenous language maintenance, revitalisation and reclamation, materials use, identity and policy in a variety of language teaching and learning contexts. Gurmila Maga't Mel.
Sorry, technical difficulty. I know I have to talk mention. Oh,
Amen. Is lectore Judy version. Is mission Amen. Is lectore Sanoscol Badriana. And Gomalasko will be needing to speak about Barla and Ish Mar Tommy Fulton Gilga, but I have a long way to go before my Irish is able to fully express my appraisal of Orla's report on the work being done by Sólás na nÓg. So I spent years of my life learning Indigenous languages and working with educators and activists to make Indigenous languages and lifeways more accessible to younger generations. And if I had to choose one thing that I've learned from years in Ojibwe country and here in Ireland, it is the value of keeping relationality at the core. When I say relationality, I am referring to long-standing networks of relationships between people in families and communities, as well as the relationships with land and language, and these relationships stretch across past and future. Indigenous scholars point to relationality as a central force in the reclamation of their languages and lifeways. It's the thing that makes language reclamation decolonizing, repairing relations that have been disrupted by colonialism. And as I read the accounts from Sólás na nÓg stakeholders in the report, I was struck by how intentional the program is in centering relationships with people and place and language. The children in the program are treated as whole social beings. Staff not only acknowledge the relevance of life outside the centre, but they actively engage with it. They connect with parents and teachers to better understand how they can create educational opportunities for the young people they care about, and they meet the kids where they are. You know, relational work takes time, and this is evident in the report. It comes up. Kids who maybe initially expressed reluctance at leaving the car, they now go into the centre, as one parent put it. It's just so necessary. So Sólás na nÓg is really just a prime example of how centering relationships in youth work can lead to transformative educational and social outcomes. And it's a source of light within Irish medium youth work. Cohorts agus Cormaga for all you do, Larja, Jen and Shiv, Oprah Ellen.
To share the findings of this research report, we welcome Dr. Orla McGurk. Orla is a language activist and works as an associate researcher with the Department of Further and Higher Education, Research Initiative and Science in Dublin. Orla obtained her doctorate studying the reproduction of inequality within the Irish medium education sector. The staff and young people would like to sincerely thank Orla for all of her dedication and expertise. Your insights are invaluable and your work makes a meaningful impact. Garamila Mayaga.
Garmaigah, Harja Garmaigah Kiva, Garmaigah Catania, as Fan Shaw and Eden Sholly. This is a wee bit mental today, because the last time I did this, spoke in front of a crowd, was about 7 months ago, and my belly was out to here, and my lungs were up here in my throat, and I couldn't breathe, because Bara, who's with us now in the room, and he's sleeping, so obviously that's what he thinks of his mummy's speeches. But thank God, Gwyl Shane Shaw, Slan Salacha, and he's just the best wee baby in the world, being wonderfully looked after his Auntie Sarah. So, yeah, can't really breathe today because it's a completely different way of life right now, but well, bear with me for 10 minutes here, and we'll get through this unscathed, hopefully, and I'll hopefully make some sense, because the baby brain is real. So, Sikikal Sheep, we has the Pudging Fergal, August Fern, Sólás na nÓg. These are just incredible, and Garamila Maig of us and Jesh. It's not even work, to be honest, to be doing bits and pieces like this, and to sort of get into the nitty gritty of the programme, and you know, be in touch with the kids and the parents, and just have the conversations. It's very eye-opening for me, and it's wonderful to be a part of. So Garamila Maigah. Agus Sólás we has sitting around Fartiha and Taighde ar fad, and agus den in her Leuchbury Erin Taighde. So a big shout to all those who took part in the research again for their very valuable time and their input. And we have Slish and Cranachar Nashinta. Seamus, nice to see you again. For the ongoing support of the project, which will hopefully continue to develop and flourish for years to come, especially with the prospect of Carriga and the development of the building here at Glornamona. I know the ins and outs of Carriga because I was working on that whenever I was here before I left last May. So hopefully, again, it'll help with the development of the building and to allow for further service provision and expansion for the young people and for the poor staff who have to work all their programmes in a really tiny building. So hopefully that gets going within the next year or so. Yes, just a bit of context then. So today we're launching the third instalment of research on the Sólás na nÓg project, and from the programme was piloted. I've been working alongside the staff team here to collate a research profile for the bespoke and innovative programme involved here at Sólás. So I was drafted in really before I even worked in Glornamona. I was finishing the PhD and it was in the middle of lockdown, and it was all a bit mental, and I didn't really want to do my own research, so I did extra research that was here, and it was class, you know. But it all sort of fitted in really well. So, but it was also to sort of help fulfil the funding criteria as well of the project, to have that ongoing sort of research profile and building and seeing what the project's actually doing, how bespoke it is, and how we can create a research literature in order to inform further practice. maybe further afield. So initially, so the next piece then was a review of the first year of enhanced provision at Sólás, so going from the 1 to the 3 nights a week, having the staff team, having the coordinator and things like that. And after receiving funding support from the National Lottery as well. And then this current piece was informed by one of the recommendations arising from the previous report, which sought to look at ways to examine and develop opportunities for collaboration and sharing practice between teachers, additional needs coordinators, youth workers, parents and the young people in order to enhance the experiences of the young people here attending Irish medium schools and the informal youth services here at Clonmona as well. So that's where we're at currently. I'll try not to bore you too much with the theoretical stuff. We could be here all day talking about it, but in framing the research, I first of all considered the aims of this piece, which looks to create opportunities for collaboration between formal and informal education. So this very notion, it's decolonising in itself, which of course is the cornerstone of all the programmes, all the activism, everything that happens underneath the roof here at Clonmona. It all sort of centres around that idea of decolonisation. And it made me think about education really in its traditional sense, you know, the formal education that our young people receive on the daily. And it's very much a knowledge transfer, very one-dimensional, very transactional. You know, it's master, student. The master has all the knowledge and the student just sucks it in, and, you know, how dare a teacher ever learn from a student? Like, that couldn't happen, you know. How could they go outside the realm of a classroom and incorporate youth workers, you know, parents? What do parents know, do you know? And even now I'm seeing with myself, with Barra, like, I'm teaching Barra things that you'll never learn within the walls of a classroom, and how important the sort of input is from parents and having that network built around that it's student-centred. And child-centred as well, so very, very important. So as we know, education has been shaped by structures that often marginalise those who do not conform to rigid academic expectations and regimens. This includes young people with additional learning, social, emotional and behavioural needs, whose unique strengths and perspectives are not always recognised and attended to within mainstream education. So I thought it was useful to consider the work of Lonnie Florian on collaborative practice, which is amazing, and to guide this work, which is the design and implementation of practices that are designed to challenge and move beyond traditional interventions and approaches in relation to additional needs, historically, which were to exclude, remove and marginalise. So the implementation of collaborative practice therefore seeks to dismantle and challenge the structures which are imposed by an archaic system existent within the education system, which does not support or attend to the needs of those young people, not only facing marginalisation within their school settings, but also in the wider education system and society as well. And it acknowledges diverse ways of learning, supporting and socialising, and places value on informal education spaces such as youth work settings as equally vital to personal development. Mouthful. There's some nice wee bits and pieces from Florian as well, you'll see within the report. And again, centering around that idea of decolonisation, one of the most relevant areas of competence for promoting inclusive practice to be developed is understanding how broader social forces influence exclusion and disadvantage. And really, what Sólás does is it takes that and it poses the challenges to it and it flips it and brings in so many more stakeholders within the programme to create that holistic sort of picture of what we're trying to achieve here. So moving on to the research questions then. So you'll see on the board, these were very sort of loose. Again, I don't really like bringing questions to the research cohorts that we have here. I like to have conversations, and from that it sort of organically grows and flourishes and you get so much out of them. So just to cover, we asked what impact, if any, does the attendance of young people at Sólás have on their educational potential, development or outcomes at school? Are there any opportunities that could be created to develop effective and communicative strategies between stakeholders to enhance young people's development? Are young people developing interpersonal and social skills which are helping them make friends in school? So they informed the focus groups and interviews as well. So coming from the research interviews, again, sort of semi-structured focus group discussions rather than interviews, as I say. There were 4 main themes arising, which you can see here. We'll have space, relationships, assessment and interventions, and sharing practice as well. And I'll take you through a couple of testimonies and sort of the various things that parents and special educational needs coordinators and the staff team here said in relation to that. So one of the strongest themes emerging from the research is the importance of creating dedicated social spaces for young people with additional needs. Many parents noted that their children have limited opportunities to engage socially outside of structured environments. Sólás provides a space where they can truly be themselves, where there's no pressure to conform or mask their personalities. Senkos and staff commended the environment for its ability to encourage young people to step outside of their comfort zones, to engage with their peers and explore their interests in a relaxed, pressure-free setting. Parents shared stories of their children's flourishing in this space, whether through creative arts, structured play, or simply having the opportunity to interact in ways that feel natural to them. Additionally, the youth workers have developed interventions to help young people transition into and feel more comfortable in the space. This includes small but significant steps, such as meeting them at the car and easing their transition into the club. And I know that stretches beyond here at Glornamona as well. It transfers into school and how making that sort of that transition from one school to man school and things like that, and how valuable that small gesture is. And then importantly, there's a transfer effect of this social engagement. Young people who build friendships and social confidence at the youth club are bringing these skills into school, helping them navigate relationships in a more structured and educational setting. So again, folks, go Sólás and Gaelic. Sorry for the Gaelic, didn't get time to translate because we were doing this at 11:30 last night. Just a couple of wee testimonies from the parents themselves and the staff team here. There's one here to see on the Scola Rá the school setting that is too formal. The Church and Adulti Sublinga, being Chicago, the Villa Delta, they'll be lost amongst the thousands of children that are there. And we try to lift the kid, the Delta Galahil, Neil and Tam, after the big playlist, they need to hear Iraq. So it's all about that idea that, you know, it's very hard to sort of zone in on one child and to give that attention and to give that that sort of provision to single, and you know, time constraints and they're teaching the exams and things like that. It's just not possible within a school setting. One of the parents also said can see a formal day the college war week, so the formal setting it looks an awful lot from them, takes an awful lot from them. Kiki should have see the suggestion could just move in the Dalti come away to find the physical aki she and go rod knock nature go more in the Dalti it's more happy. You know, because in the Dalti we're sitting in, you know, rows of seats and they're told to shush and be quiet, and they're dealing with a lot of auditory receptors, and you know, it's very overstimulating as well. So again, read the report and get your teeth into them quotes. So relationships, then I'll move on to the second theme. So another key finding from the research is the profound impact of relationships on young people's development. The connections formed at Sólás, both with peers and with the youth workers, have been transformational for many children and their families. Parents described how the youth club has given their children a sense of belonging and confidence, leading to improved communication at home, greater enthusiasm for social interaction. Teaching staff also recognise these developments, noting that many young people who attend Sólás show improved engagement in school settings. The relationship between youth workers and young people is particularly important. The staff take time to understand each individual's needs and interests, creating an environment where they feel truly seen and supported. This rapport has even helped with school transitions, as youth workers act as familiar faces, as said, who can provide stability in times of change and uncertainty. However, while strong communication exists between youth workers here and parents, there is a need for greater collaboration between schools and youth workspaces to provide a more integrated support system, as we will note in the findings as well. So again, just another couple of wee quotes. We've been lost without Sólás, it's this wee social life, and it's definitely helped him mature. He's still not there, but he's definitely developing. He's getting better, and his friendships are definitely getting better. He loves coming here, and just how much it has changed our lives. it gives us a little bit of respite knowing he's won and he's enjoying it, and that sent him off somewhere and he's coming back happy. And I love this even there's no Acklam taking the hit with me. The workers understand me. They're saying, you know, they just give me money. So we shouldn't eat that top that we from or Neil shouldn't like acting you just need higging shit, we just don't understand. Yes, sorry, one particular example which was really stand out to me whenever I was you know, carrying out the research and things like that is the practice which is actually put in place for the youth workers to go into schools to help with transition and things like that. Now, again, it's not feasible with such little staff numbers and with such a big cohort as well, but it's all about helping in that transition. And, you know, there's a whole lot of red tape with schools, and, you know, the mere thought of youth workers going into schools and saying, oh, you know, this is, why can't you do that for my child, and why can't my child get this and all this here? So it's an amazing concept. Just don't really think the man stroke woman part is there, and you know but again, for such a bespoke practice to be implemented at a very small level, let's look at the opportunities to expand that for more people and more young people, so that it makes that transition a wee bit easier. Moving on to assessment and intervention. The research also explored the methods used to assess and support young people's development, both academically and socially. While formal education assessments focused largely on academic progress, many participants highlighted the need for better ways to measure social and emotional growth. Schools tend to prioritise measurable outcomes such as literacy and numeracy scores, but the ability to form relationships, regulate emotions and engage socially are equally critical skills that are often overlooked. Some parents described how their children's IEPs, the individual education plans, include emotional and social goals, which they found beneficial. However, they're not always well integrated with informal youth work settings. Parents and staff suggested that tools such as visual and graphic evidence, already used in sort of nursery settings, you know, the likes of your Blackboard and the wee apps, could be adopted in youth work to track progress in a more holistic way, that we're not sort of using charts and tick boxes and things like that. So another challenge identified was the informal nature of youth work assessment. Unlike schools, youth clubs do not have structured reporting systems, making it harder to formally track progress. But you also sort of have to be careful of that. You don't want to overstretch it. While parents appreciated the more relaxed communication, they also saw potential in more structured yet accessible methods of feedback, such as occasional check-ins or digital progress tracking. One of the teachers actually said this, I'm not going to barriacht in Bosnia or Skull Jerry here actively like, yeah, ta, agus fel sé an bua intact an gasir seo chat the stack or skull or fish up and you can have a burr for rudder bay. Agus mar hockey lynch and a so again, just sort of suggesting it's quite hard to measure social, emotional, you know, well-being and progress and things like that, and how could we look maybe at a metric to assess that better. So moving on to sharing practice then, the last theme. One of the strongest recommendations from this research is the need to enhance collaboration between schools and youth work settings to create a more cohesive support network for young people. Parents and staff suggested that improved lines of communication between school and youth clubs would allow for the sharing of important information and young people's experiences and challenges. This could include simple updates when a child has had a difficult day at school, allowing youth workers to adjust their approach accordingly whenever they arrive here. So several practical solutions were proposed. Again, developing the digital platform or database to share key information while respecting, obviously, privacy and parental consent. Holding quarterly meetings between teachers and youth workers to align strategies and discuss progress. Encouraging school visits, so to bring teachers actually out to the youth club and vice versa and see how both settings work and how they can sort of learn from each other. Allowing educators to gain insight into formal support methods and best practices. Integrating joint training sessions as well for youth workers and teachers, fostering a shared understanding of how best to support young people and additional needs. One of the teachers as well just said that tucking in by course from Sprick Kierna, agus Siona Exela, agus Cur strategy different a bheith, agus fi just a bheith fulham on the killa kumai, bell she needs for a strategy a bheith again hun clactish and arrange. So again, all about sharing practice. Meanwhile, they're all sort of moving towards the same spirit, the same aim, just in two different settings, and how that looks in informal and formal. So just on the recommendations, folks, based on the research findings, the following key recommendations are proposed. Strengthen the communication channels between schools and youth services to create a more seamless support system for young people, to develop a shared digital platform for tracking progress and sharing updates between teachers, youth workers and parents, to expand interdisciplinary networks, creating more opportunities for teachers and youth workers to collaborate and share best practices, to encourage school visits, to foster mutual understanding of effective informal education strategies, to develop holistic assessment tools that capture social and emotional development in addition to academic progress, and to advocate for increased funding and resources to expand the capacity of youth services, allowing for more one-to-one support where needed. You also mentioned and so just the research has provided valuable insights into the critical role of youth work in supporting young people with additional needs by creating safe, inclusive spaces, fostering meaningful relationships and bridging the gap between formal and informal education. We can ensure these young people receive the support that they need to thrive. Moving forward then, implementing these recommendations will help strengthen the impact of youth services here like Sólás and Oak, and ensuring that young people are empowered, supported and given the opportunities they deserve to reach their full potential. So,
we would now like to share with you a short video, a practice example of the work carried out within the project, our Lego-based therapy programme.
Táimeann Sean Gillan of the Gillanachta Sólás na Nóg agus tá céilearing bunaí go bheith a bhíon na líoga a tenaí tréis de sé seachtain annaí ag pléide an clár Lego therapy. Táimeann cenú tú sa chuir leis ruban nágan sin scarmid sa báistí secretary grúp a defil formid sa Lego the gach grúpa agus socialization scheme to trí rólaigh na báistí then you line torch a drawer, then you kind of like look here agus then you like torch na easy. Sharpto so tashi the governor stone on the side next. Lava socket car and piece of tashi the gear actually in you can see to the back bay agus new one for crunching from social socket crunching and cage and feel like the topic my brother's just the echo being shall it got plastic got grow back in different Hanahan and a case section comes to here. Ulan Shaw Ray and then the rugby after agus these will be see go out and he's Jackbra a she her frost a bit of hand and then she the cadre and flashy up and cadre at the up then.
Myself and another mother and kids together went approached me back in touch with Carl and she did a sort of training and it was great. The young person the two part in our Lego-based survey and kids together was a child of a worker in Lower Nona and then we got into the conversation like, well, how can we start doing this? And I just get training and start the process. It's nothing out of this world, it's not too hard to do, but when you do it, it's class. So we've done that and I got in touch with Carl and we were hosting a training session for more staff for ourselves and got in touch with Taighde.
Carl Pierce Virginia Dino Carl agus is 18 occur and I would try to more earn because we were doing all of extra honey or aquani like agus object being only earning over something but he much girl major art for Shisher basically but so generally the bird shake for the carry Portugal so he much the mad group online of being but to trade a car group or rock the loading.
The magic Johnny and Lego for she is not my the magic Johnny planting. It's probably like and I don't know how can say that like Tashi Creamy like nurse had to egg Johnny to or like a bwysig. Ta sé neadle sé mai, but ta sé an start agus ar tá ag an jury ta sé bheith mai.
Hope me a mini dark wall. Agus hope me like a Lego hot dog. It's ground like to go Lego, like just you prepare to go Lego catalogus. Tell Louis Lego of
Same I did like what like pajamas or what is for from like no like when my mother time hope my good mother time awesome Lego.
Well, I had the box for Miss Sabina to more of a job in homework and drawing up around early and more joy. August I should have shot fish which I'm lucky at mine. Because meanwhile will be needed to finish special education and finish by across the so last night I should cross the back on the road. I should be scholar age and I should so well so she didn't go car and train she carried on the map that much very car.
There was dual skill the conversation obviously and skill so for the century also she never got a like a macas doing that and kind of graduation or which I knew was no question obvious skill and conversation so being my daily fast of why that little shop and has which struggle to the running in the meeting a big torch and Jason doing of my market other again and run the impact jazz so she didn't darn send out a spark like a macas na fashion top shed and I feel these far or business clean
Galantar Fadenshin. We would now like to welcome Seamus McCann to say a few words about the project on behalf of the funder, the National Lottery Community Fund. Seamus is a senior funding officer with the National Lottery for over 20 years and has been a great support to this project. We would also like to congratulate the National Lottery as they have just celebrated their 30th anniversary.
Thank you all very much. Thanks for all coming here. I'm not going to be too long. Now, I could talk at length, but I'm not going to talk at length. And that's quite a pertinent point about the 30 years, because the 30 years, there has been 30 years, and in that 30 years, there's been 1.5 billion pounds distributed into the north of Ireland from the lottery, so it's done a good job. This particular project was funded under our programme called Empowering Young People. And the nature of the whole programme was to engage young people and to get the young people feeling that they were part of the project and their voices were being heard. So we've given 400,000 over 4 years. We've got a year to go. And one of the things in terms of this project itself, the project itself wanted to naturally empower young people, but also wanted to look at their social and emotional well-being. So I think we could clearly say, having listened to everything today, that the project has done a good job. This report clearly states their social and emotional well-being is going well. Maybe a bit hard to measure it, but I would say if you listen to some of the quotes in here, some of the quotes in this are brilliant. Really, really pertinent in terms of how the young people feel when they come here. They feel happy and they feel they can be themselves. And that's all, like, as funders, that's all we want. We want people to be happy, we want people to be engaged, we want people to be empowered, and particularly under this programme, we want the young people to be empowered. So we can say they've done a good job in terms of all the research. This research clears it up well. There's a couple of pertinent points that Orla's mentioned that I was going to say. The space was very good because the space itself is good for the young people to come to the space, but it gives them space to develop. So space is, you're not necessarily talking just in terms of an area, you're also talking emotionally, which is very good. And then you also talk in terms of relationships. You're talking, it's relationships not just for the young people developing, but they're developing with the schools and everything else. So everything we would want the project to be doing is very good. And that's what we can't say much more than that there. I'm not going to say it's going to keep on funding the project. Like, where's our lady? She's probably got me. See, there she is down there. You have to go through due process, you know what I mean? But like in terms of what we would want from this project, it's very good. In terms of the research and all, and you can see when we, and that is a pertinent point, we did ask for research. And one of the things that we asked for research is not necessary for us. We're thinking broader. So us as a funder, we're saying we need to take the learning, and the learning needs to be moved across the whole sector. And this is an effective tool of doing that. So guys, thank you very much.
Gurmina Mayoga Seamus.
Let's share in an
Oh, sorry. So to close today's event, we would like to share with you a video of Una, who was named this year's Young Apprentice of the Year with Glór Neil. She is a great asset and role model to our young people, and as always, we're so proud of her.
Esme in a cowan, Tammy Shakti Blindish, obviously make over in Anam Kajuna. There were many gradam, neil will make dullish, but the antax hasta, leal, just es problem, they got burned the day plasty, so just duskel shake hot more dorsey doing. Nervy man animals, overman shanna, fag, fig bay, horn sovereign, lily allen skiva, lesson trainer, hussy with jamak, egg, sort that in the arrogage, and doyle a gina customary, I was in doyle cafe experience. I govern anum, don't make hudge more skill na different. Don't man doy le gina customary cafe, and I was just, and doy short. Le big glutch customary. Listen tahi were me on him, the male the foster, so cut the one, the were me to sin Bilan, and ish la anam or kidding, being magic gospel stood in the forestry, so being me here it was couple over Jonah at Dini Jonah Ella, a gover stealing a jammy chocolate checked in the forestry, the me taxasta and Gradamile, knew me a dualish, but we may attack Sastalish. Tasha, piece of boyish jack, or tag of carriages jack to Jamaki, going main show. So there were Tasha and show, just a piece of bug. Hello, just ice jack. And yeah, grandma, the mix when you fee, Kaja will make Gary County lish, to make Gary hot rash, hanging football Gilligan. My galler shot to make your vega over an anam makes mo, August coming again. No fun which in Fortnum new.
Gurmila Mayogov for sharing the success with us today. Our research will be available on the website within a few days, but there's also a few hard copies here available at the front. So just another wee round of applause for the amazing speakers today.